So I think with just a little TLC, that park could be a great tool. That park could be a great thing to promote family and to promote community. You know.
How did Washington Park go from being a real social destination for Milwaukeeans to its present state as an underfunded and underutilized green space in the heart of our city? What changes happened historically that have affected how residents and neighbors perceive this park? What factors keep people away? In this film, we will answer these questions, discuss how the park is used now, and seek answers as to how the park and wholly our community can be revitalized. The founding of Washington Park was filled with promise for the city of Milwaukee. In 1891, the city acquired 124 acres along Valete Street to be used for a public park and zoo. Renowned landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted was commissioned to design the park. Olmsted is responsible for the design of Lake Park in Milwaukee, Central Park in New York City, and countless other landmarks across the country. From the time of its founding to its relocation in the early 60s, the zoo experienced constant growth. Every year, new animals and buildings appeared and attendance rose steadily. As early as 1906, attendance had already reached 100,000 people. By 1927, yearly attendance figures topped 1 million. Washington Park not only housed the zoo, but also welcomed Milwaukeeans to its grounds for horse races. Besides attractions and activities, the park was decorated with statues that vamped the aesthetic. Statues of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Friedrich Schiller, and Friedrich von Steuben reflect the large concentration of German ethnic groups. These images would resonate with residents and likely attract many people to the park. With such high interest in the park, the city added more events. In 1938, the Emil Blatz Temple of Music was dedicated. A weekly concert series called Music Under the Stars gave residents a fine arts outlet right in their own backyard. Despite the promise of this beautiful Milwaukee landmark, urban development had a negative effect on the park. In the late 50s and early 60s, a number of initiatives drastically changed the landscape of Milwaukee. Interstate 41 was constructed alongside Washington Park, causing a substantial loss in acreage. As a result of the interstate project, the zoo was forced to relocate. The relocation left Washington Park in peril. Without the draw of the zoo, Washington Park went from a social center to an underutilized green space. No longer is there a centrally organized body conducting day-to-day operations in the park. Milwaukee County took over after the Zoological Society. Unfortunately, the county was unable to maintain the park's glory. Individual schools, community groups, and residents became forced to create their own activities. The park lost its magnet, and there was nothing there to take its place. Recently, the Lisbon Avenue neighborhood development was housed in the old community center. As land grew, the community center became unsuitable for their needs. In recent years, the Urban Ecology Center filled that void. Problems facing these groups can be attributed to low city funding to the park. With only one gazebo, very few bathrooms, and large tracts of unused land, these groups have had a hard time attracting residents to the park. Residents currently go to Washington Park for its natural beauty, but when they arrive, there is no funding for activities inside of the park. In turn, the park is valued less by its residents than it was previously. People feel apathetic and take little pride in the financially ignored park. The will to keep it nice is diminished, and so there is more litter in the grass and more broken glass on the playgrounds. Although the lagoon is restocked with fish every year, the city has never dragged the bottom of the lagoon clear. Over time, these shortcomings have turned into deterrents for young people in the Washington Park neighborhood.
It takes those residents to bring about change. You know, it takes those residents to identify if there's problems and then it also takes those residents to work on solutions to solve those problems. So when we look at our neighborhood, we look at the residents, and they play a key role in if the change in the neighborhood or bringing about businesses or anything that revolves around. We have to start with the residents first, because they are the ones that are here. They're the ones whose feet are on the road or on the ground every day, so they kind of make things happen. So it's our residents.